Welcome back to Say It in English. I'm Tom.
And I'm Lexi. Today we're talking about the perfect weekend, describing free time the way English speakers really do.
And we're going to start with a question for you. You know the word relax, but in English, nobody just says, I relax on weekends. So what do they actually say?
That is such a great point, Tom. It's one of those things you learn in a textbook that sounds a bit strange in a real conversation. We're going to give you the real, natural phrases today.
Exactly. So let's start there. Why does I relax sound weird? To me, it sounds a little robotic.
Totally, it's too general. When someone asks, what did you do this weekend? They want to know how you relaxed. Did you sleep in? Did you watch a movie? Did you go for a walk?
Right. Relaxing is the category, but the specific activities are the real answer. So the first and most common way to answer is using the word usually.
Like, what do you usually do on weekends? It's a great, simple way to talk about your routine. It's not a strict schedule, just what is normal for you.
Right. So if you asked me that, Lexi, I'd say, well, on a typical weekend, I usually try to get some exercise on Saturday morning. It helps me feel like I've accomplished something early on.
That makes sense. And see, not just I exercise, but I usually try to get some exercise. It's softer and more conversational. For me, I'd say I usually catch up on sleep on Saturdays. I am not a morning person, so my alarm is definitely off.
I believe that. Another really common phrase is, I tend to. This is great for things that happen often, but maybe aren't a strict plan.
Ooh, good one. It's like saying, this is a habit of mine. For example, I tend to spend my Sunday afternoons doing life admin.
Life admin. I like that phrase. What does that include?
You know, paying bills, planning my meals for the week, answering emails I ignored, the boring stuff. So I tend to do it then because I have to, not always because I want to.
I totally get that. I tend to leave all my laundry for Sunday night. Every single week I tell myself I'll do it earlier, but I never do. It's just my habit.
Right, so we have a usually for routines and I tend to for habits. What about things we genuinely enjoy? The fun stuff.
For that, the classics are the best. I like to or I love to. Simple, but they're what we actually use. And you can add adverbs to make it stronger, like I really love to.
Of course. So instead of I read books, you'd say I love to get lost in a good book on a Sunday. It adds feeling and paints a picture.
It does, and it opens up the conversation. If I say I love to go hiking on the weekends, you can ask, oh, where do you like to go?
Exactly. It's more descriptive. I could say I really like to try out new recipes. The kitchen gets messy, but it's fun.
That sounds fun. I'm not much of a cook. I'm more of an I like to order pizza kind of guy.
That's a valid weekend activity too. And that brings up another point, how we ask about the weekend. In a casual chat, you don't usually say, what are your weekend plans? It's a big formal.
Right. I'd probably say, got any plans for the weekend? Or what are you up to this weekend? Much more natural.
What are you up to is a big one. It's so useful. You can use it for right now, tonight, the weekend, super flexible.
For sure. And the answer could be, not much, just taking it easy. Which brings us back to relaxing.
Yes, the art of doing nothing. This is where you wouldn't say I relaxed, but you might say I just took it easy.
Took it easy. That's a perfect one. It means you didn't have big plans. Maybe you stayed in your pajamas until noon.
Guilty, or I just chilled out at home. Chill out or just chill is super common and very informal.
Definitely. My friends and I use that all the time. What did you do Saturday? Just chilled. Everyone knows what that means.
Another good one is unwind. It has this feeling of releasing stress after a long week. On Friday night, I just need to unwind.
Yeah, that's a good one. It implies you were wound up before. Like, I like to unwind by listening to some music and not looking at my phone for an hour.
That sounds like heaven. You can also say you had some downtime, like it was nice to finally have some downtime this weekend.
Right, it means a period with no obligations. So to recap those, take it easy, chill out, unwind, and have some downtime. All much better than just relax.
And what if your weekend wasn't relaxing? What if you were really busy? You could say, it was pretty hectic, actually. Or, I was running around all weekend.
Running around, that's a great visual. It means you had a lot of different places to go. I spent all of Saturday running around doing errands.
Exactly. Or maybe it was just boring. You could say, I didn't do much, or it was a pretty quiet one. That's a polite way to say nothing exciting happened.
Perfect. Okay, let's circle back to social plans. You don't socialize with friends. That sounds like a science report.
It really does. No, you hang out with friends. That is probably the #1 phrase. I'm gonna hang out with my friends on Saturday.
Yes, or you get together with them. A few of us are getting together for a barbecue. You also catch up with people you haven't seen in a while.
Oh, catch up is a huge one. I'm meeting an old friend to catch up. It means you're going to share all your news.
Right, and for more specific plans, you just say what you're doing. I'm grabbing coffee with Sarah, or we're going to see a movie.
Exactly. The real secret here is that spoken English often uses these casual phrasal verbs: hang out, chill out, catch up, run around. And this is super important when you're not just talking about your weekend, but also when you're trying to make plans with someone. You wouldn't say, would you be available to socialize on Saturday?
That's right. Your textbook teaches you the formal verb, but daily conversation is built on these little multi-word phrases. Let's do a quick role play. I'll ask you about your weekend first. So, Lexi, what are you up to this weekend?
I'm actually catching up with a friend from college on Saturday. We haven't seen each other in ages. Then Sunday is my life admin day. I tend to spend the whole afternoon running around doing errands.
Well, I hope you have a great time catching up with your friend. How about I ask you about last weekend? How was it?
It was great, thanks. I just took it easy, mostly. On Saturday, I hung out with my sister and we grabbed lunch. Then I just chilled at home and binge-watched that new show everyone's talking about.
Sounds like a perfect, relaxing weekend.
It really was. See, in that whole conversation, we described a weekend without ever just saying, I relaxed.
And it sounded completely natural. So the main takeaway for our listeners is be more specific and use these conversational phrases.
Exactly. Think about your weekend. Do you catch up on chores? Do you binge watch shows? Use that specific, real-life vocabulary. It will make your English sound so much more natural. So our question for you this week is, using these new phrases, what does your perfect weekend look like? Let us know in the comments.
We'd love to read your answers. And if you're enjoying Say It in English, please take a second to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Next week, we're diving into a very modern topic: working from home versus the office, the vocabulary of modern work life.
It's a good one. Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember that every mistake is a step forward.
Thanks so much for listening.
Bye for now.